Okay, so my name is Alexandra Klein, and for my first synthesized findings, the three studies I chose, number one was a study named Association Between Maternal Satisfaction with Breastfeeding and Postpartum Depressive Symptoms. So this study design was a cross-sectional study done in Porto Alegre, Brazil. They used 287 women which were chosen from one private and one public hospital, and this was during their first 6 weeks postpartum. They did an in-person questionnaire where they went to their homes to gather the information on breastfeeding practices, their depression symptoms, and other demographics. So this study found that high satisfaction with breastfeeding was 47% higher in women who were not experiencing postpartum depression. So, in other words, women without postpartum depression enjoyed breastfeeding more. The second study is called Early Exclusive Breastfeeding Cessation and Postpartum Depression, Assessing and Moderating Role of Maternal Stress and Social Support. This was a cross-sectional study done by randomly selecting 426 mothers in Bangladesh, and this was done at 6 months postpartum. They gave a face-to-face survey which evaluated postpartum depression, breastfeeding, along with social support and stress. And this study found that mothers who were not exclusively breastfeeding were 7.58-fold more likely to experience postpartum depression than mothers who did exclusively breastfeed. And the last study I did found was the association between postpartum depression and the practice of exclusive breastfeeding in the first 3 months of life. This was a cross-sectional study as well. It took 2,583 mother-child dyad ages 15 days to 3 months, and they did an in-person interview to evaluate breastfeeding along with depression. And this summary was pretty straightforward. It just found that postpartum depression negatively affected breastfeeding outcomes. So overall from these studies, my first synthesized findings was women who exclusively breastfed have lower rates of postpartum depression than mothers who do not exclusively breastfeed. And these are my resources that I used. Thank you so much for listening.